Okay guys, welcome to my few part series on how I do stuff. As you can see, today we're going to talk about breaking in. And we're going to specifically break in this motor. Okay, it's the power dash motor. The tools you need to break in basically is just any braking system that you have. For me, I have this. Or you could use this also if you have this. But for this purpose, I will use this because this homemade device, right, can forward and reverse, and you probably need that for breaking in. So let me just power this on. You can set the voltage. So before we begin, we will need to get a base reading of this guy first. So to do that, we'll use Giri. We are going to set the voltage to 3 volts. There is no right or wrong voltage number. It's just that if I set at 3 volt now, then after breaking, I will set at 3 volt again. So we're going to run this and do a quick check on the RPM of this fresh out of the box. Okay lah, we can safely say it's about 30k. Fresh out of the box, this particular motor is 30k. So let's begin the break-in process. So before we do anything to this, right, we will need to have some lubrication. I personally use this Tamiya metal bearing lubricating oil. No specific oil, you can use whatever oil you have. Some people use Singer, for example this. Some people use Voodoo, for example this. Just use whichever oil you want. In this particular example, I'm going to use this. What you need to do is to oil both the tips here and here. So now we are ready to break in. We are going to do a slow break-in. We're going to set this to as low as possible. In this case, I can set to 1.2. If you have other device, you just set anything below 1.5. It should be not too slow, not like 0.6 or what. Above 1 volt is fine, but not more than 1.5. So we're just going to set this to as low as we can, which is 1.23 in this case. And then we're going to run it reverse. Because of this toggle, I can reverse the polarity. So I'm going to run it reverse. And we're going to time this for about 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 30 seconds more to go. Okay, it's done. So we're going to rest for 3 minutes or so. Let it cool down for 3 minutes. So while it's cooling down, I'm going to oil some. Okay, so coming soon to resting period over. Another 20 seconds, then we continue. Okay, we're going to restart the timer again. Another 3 minutes. This time we'll go forward. Okay, so another 30 seconds left. We're gonna wait for it to finish. Then we're gonna continue to the next part. Okay, we're gonna restart the timer again. 3 minutes rest. While it's resting, we're going to oil again here. And while we are doing that, the next round will be forward. And we're going to increase the voltage, so you need to double this. So if you are like on 1.2, maybe you go to 2.4. For my case, I'm just going to set to 2.5. We're going to wait for this timer to be finished, and then we continue to the next part. Okay, so we're going to restart, and then we're going to go reverse at 2.5 volt. We're going to put a cloth underneath it. Okay, the cloth absorbs a bit of that shake. Okay, so we're going to wait for this to finish. After that, we're going to let it rest for another 3 minutes. Then we go to forward direction. By now, you probably hear the pitch equalized, and that's what you want. So we're going to restart the timer. We're going to let it rest for 3 minutes for it to cool down. While it's cooling down, we're going to oil, and then we're going to wait, and then we're going to continue on to the next step. Okay. Don't forget to oil, yeah. Just oil 1 or 2 drops. So we're going to leave it running for about 3 minutes, and then we get back to the next part. Okay, so we're going to wait for this to finish in about 20 seconds, and then we're going to let it rest for another 3 minutes, and then we are going to clean up. Actually, I prepared this bottle. We just get some small bottle enough to dip in your whole motor and use some cleaner. If it's cold, right, don't use it. It's not so good. You need something that's not cool. We use this by Mr. Mechanic. So it's a contact cleaner with lubricant. We need to let it cool first. No need to oil for now. So once it rested, we're gonna go on to the next step, which is clean up. The motor is probably still hot, don't worry about that, because it's going to get cold. Okay, for now we're going to stop this timer. We're not going to use it anymore. Turn down the voltage, and then you can dip this inside. So depending on how much oil you use or what, adjust this first. Okay, make sure it's fully submerged like this, and then run it in forward direction. We're going to do this until the water or the liquid becomes dirty. If it's not dirty, don't worry about it, but this should help to move all the lubricant into the motor. We run this for a while and then we stop. Do it reverse. So we're going to do this a few times. There's no specific timing to this. I'm just going to once a while swap to forward, once a while swap to reverse. The whole idea is to make sure the liquid gets circulated into the motor. And it should be good to go now. So now we're going to let it drip out for a while. All the excess liquid, we're going to let it dry for a while. So now we're going to let it rest for a while. Let's clean it up for a while. Depending on the motor that you used, your results may vary, but this is how I normally do for all motors, including Hyper Dash, Mach Dash. No specific to this Power Dash motor only. It's just that I have this motor, so I just want to break in. It's dried. Now we're going to run very short bursts at a very high voltage. So in this case, this guy max is about 4.27. So it doesn't matter what's your max, but try not to go more than 5. We're just going to run forward, maybe count to 10, and then we're going to run reverse. And we're going to do that for a few times. You'll probably hear the pitch drop. That's because the oil is dried, and that's what we want. We want to dry up the oil inside. So after that, we go to a second bath. Okay, make sure it's fully submerged, and then we run again. By now, probably the liquid should get a little bit dirty because of the high voltage we throw in just now. It breaks a little bit of the brush, but we still need to get it clean. Let's try it again. We're going to do another quick short burst again. By now, you should hear the pitch stabilize even at the highest voltage. You don't want to hear any rumblings. You don't want to hear any shaking. If that's the sound you get, which means your braking is successful. You need to buff again after you do quick burst. So I'm just going to go into the solution again. After a while it feels smooth. So that's basically what you need to do. So once this is okay, now we are ready to test this motor. Broken in motor, let's test the RPM. So we're going to set this to 3 volt so that we have a consistent reading before and after. We're going to use Geary and let's run. So this is the kind of reading you expect to get out of a Power Dash. It's not probably the fastest, but it's way smoother than it begins with, and that's what you want for breaking in. It's not about RPM. You want something that you can consistently rely on whenever you go for a race. Just some quick tips on maintenance. Always clean with your contact cleaner. Make sure it's well lubricated so that it doesn't rust, and it should last you a long time. That's it for today. I hope to share with you some more things in the future, and goodbye. Okay, some of you maybe ask me, please show on the Motormaster. Actually, I don't like to take out this guy because it's bulky, but the process is about the same. Let me just do a quick test. We're going to do it at 3.2 volts, okay? So a single run doesn't say much, so this is 35.6. So I'm going to run again. I'm not going to oil or anything, just run again. Okay, so second run 36. I'm not going to oil again, I'm going to run again. Normally, typically when I test my motors, I will run 3 times. So this is the third run. Okay, so that's enough for me personally. So if I'm going to give a rating for this guy, right, it's going to be 36 2. 36 2 with the just now break in that I did. Okay, that's all. Bye bye.